You're all doing well. This is RJ live in Washington, Georgia. It's a town of about 5,000 folks, far eastern side of the state of Georgia, not too far from the state-Carolina line. This is the county seat of Wilkes County. You see the Wilkes County Confederate Memorial right there in the background, and also the courthouse. It's a nice, pleasant day out here. It's a Sunday, and it's a beautiful little court square. It's a town of about 5,000 folks. This is actually one of the original 8 counties of Georgia. Love stopping through here and see these little mom and pop shops along the way. I'm gonna go share with you this Confederate memorial over here, and also this also has a special claim in history because this is where Jefferson Davis met for the last time. It is dissolved the Confederate cabinet, Confederacy, here on May 4th, 1865. There's actually several markers around here I'm going to share with you. Not only this Confederate monument, but also another marker by the courthouse, another one attached to the courthouse, and so definitely worth seeing. I appreciate how the town has it, keeps us decorated here. See a little ice cream shop right here. See a little mercantile off to the side. It was right here on this spot. It says the site of the Wilkes County Courthouse back in 1817. And love to see this functioning fountain right here. There's actually been about 6 different courthouses here. This county was formed back in about 1780 time frame. There's a historical marker I'm going to go up here and read too. It's called Jefferson Davis. I'll talk more about that. So walking this way, being respectful to the lady who is sitting over here. She's been here for quite a long time. I was waiting for her to move, but she can listen in as well. So it's a beautiful memorial here. This is a beautiful memorial, as you see, dedicated to the locals from Wilkes County. They answered the call to serve and protect and defend their homes and their families and their homeland, newly formed Confederacy. It's a beautiful memorial. Very important they have these memorials like this, because after all, many of these soldiers said goodbye to loved ones and family and friends, and that's the last they ever saw them. Hello, don't mind me. I'm just coming through and doing a quick little live. It's a beautiful day out here.
Enjoy your day.
Thank you. You too. Take care. It's a beautiful day out here. As you see right here, it says erected in 1908 by the last cabinet chapter, United Daughters of the Confederacy, Ladies Memorial Association, and the Sons of Veterans, a tribute to abiding love for our Confederate heroes. So of course, many of these memorials were dedicated about 1908. That's about the time when the economies were recovering. It's about the time when the soldiers were approaching 70 years old. Many of them were dying out. Many of them didn't have markers and memorials. So it's important to have these. You see this quote right here, which you see commonly on many Confederate memorials. On fame's eternal camping grounds, their silent tents are spread, and glory guards with solemn round the bivouac of the dead. I think you know now that I've been to visit hundreds of memorials. That's a very common statement. And also this one right here. Why these memorials exist, so they are not forgotten. Lord God of hosts, be with us yet, lest we forget, lest we forget. That's what this is about. This is why I share these videos, so they're not forgotten. And I love this statement on the side. After I share the statement with you, I'm going to walk over here and share with you a couple other memorials and markers that are over here, including this one that says Jefferson Davis. because it was right here that President Jefferson Davis met for the last time with his cabinet and dissolved his cabinet in the Confederacy, as mentioned over here. I love this comment. Men of Wilkes know through all time that they fought to maintain a just union, to defend constitutional government, to perpetrate American liberties, and left you their patriotic spirit. Isn't that awesome? A very well maintained landscaping right here. Once again, this beautiful memorial right here by the Wilkes County Courthouse grounds. Now I'm going to make a transition and share with you the other memorials and markers that are over here. Here's a 100-year time capsule right here to the side. Now this is about the 6th courthouse that's been here. This particular courthouse dates to 1903, but the first one was placed here back in around 1780. Like I said, this is one of the first 8 counties of Georgia. In fact, this was the capital of Georgia for a very short period of time, only for about a year or so. But there's a marker right here, and another marker in the background, and another marker over here. I'm gonna share those with you. This is what I was looking for when I came here, and I wanna share these with you. So part of the reason I wanna share these videos with you is not only so we can pay our respects together, but also to increase awareness. Hope this is an educational aspect to this as well, but also to document these. So these markers are not forgotten, because there's many times I've come to these places, these markers end up missing. I'm so glad I've taken photos and videos of these places. I encourage you to do the same. So Jefferson Davis. I'm not going to read all this because you can see it's relatively wordy, and you can read this on Historical Marker Database. But it says, on May 4th, 1865, Jefferson Davis arrived in Washington, where he performed what proved to be his last duties as President of the Confederate States of America. Shortly thereafter, with a small staff and escort, he departed en route to the Trans-Mississippi Department, where, undaunted by the tragic surrenders at Appomattox and Durham Station, he intended to unite the forces of Generals Kirby Smith, Taylor, Forrest, Maury, Magruder, to form an army which, in the portion of that country abounding in supplies and deficient in rivers and railroads, could have continued the war until our enemy, foiled in the purpose of subjugation, should, in accordance with his repeated declaration, have agreed on the basis of a return to the Union, to acknowledge the constitutional rights of the states, and by a convention or quasi-treaty to guarantee the security of person and property. Keep in mind that, as you know, when Richmond fell, Jefferson Davis and his cabinet went to Danville, Virginia, which is often called the last capital of the Confederacy, and then later on came through here. And it speaks about that right here on the rest of this historical sign. After a hard journey via Sandersville, Dublin, and Abbeville, his party camped a mile north of Irwinville, which is 178 miles southwest, in the present Jefferson Davis Memorial State Park. I'll say, I encourage you to go there. I just shared a live video from there about 2 months ago. At dawn on May 10th, his camp was surrounded by men of the 1st Wisconsin and 4th Michigan Cavalry Regiments, and the president of the Southern Confederacy became a state prisoner. His hopes for a new nation in which each state would exercise without interference its cherished constitutional rights, forever dead. Or is it? So now I want to continue on over here. I actually ended up reading all of that historical marker. Now you can see there's many more historical markers here. And the one I wanted to focus on right here is this one right here. On this site stood the old Georgia State Bank building, in which President Jefferson Davis held the last official meeting of the Confederacy on May 4, 1865. You see listed here President Jefferson Davis and a bunch of other names here. Secretary of Navy, Secretary of War, Acting Secretary of Treasury, Adjutant Generals. Samuel Cooper was here, and others as well. And it says here at the bottom, at this meeting, the Confederate government was dissolved, the last official papers were signed, the residue of coin and bullion brought from Richmond was disposed of by order of President Davis, and both civil and military officials separated to make their escape. So this is erected by the last cabinet chapter, United Daughters Confederacy, back in 1938. There's also some other markers here as well, including this one. Wilkes County was laid out under the first legislative act, January 23rd, 1780. So this county dates back to 1780. Another memorial right here. This memorial right here for those who served in foreign wars, World War I, World War II, Korea. And this one right here to Vietnam veterans. Now I'm going to share with you one more plaque. This is the one I was looking for. Make sure it was still here. Attached to the side of the wall. And that is this right here. Site of the Bank of the State of Georgia, Washington branch. The last cabinet meeting, Confederate States of America, May 4th, 1865. In a final act, President Jefferson Davis dissolved the CSA government. It speaks about how this courthouse was built in 1903, but it was severely gutted by a fire in 1959, remodeled in 1959 after extensive fire which destroyed the roof. It actually took place on Christmas Eve. One thing I like about this also is how there's a little marker here explaining the number of courthouses that were here from the very beginning. You see here the first courthouse was here from 1780 to 1785. And then you see all the way through to the present courthouses. So a good half dozen courthouses right here. And architects. That's why I like to come to courthouses preferably on Sundays when there's nobody here. I hate taking video right when people are right by the security normally. But I do what I can. Definitely prefer to come to courthouses on weekends though. Because I've had definitely plenty of security forces and police and judges even approach me, ask me why I'm doing videotaping in the courthouse grounds. So it's definitely quieter times like this. Just continuing this on. Here, this marker right here speaks about Wilkes County, an original county created by the Constitution on February 5th, 1777. And this is interesting here. This is the Bolton Factory Creek. They put this marker right here. It's the first cotton mill in the South, apparently. This is placed there back in 1923. And a historical marker right here. I'm not going to read all of this, but read this in part because it does talk about this being the sanctuary of the president. And this is part of the Jefferson Davis Historical Heritage Trail. You can see that right here. It talks about the Jefferson Davis Historical Trail. It speaks about secession here. Secession sentiment was strong on Thursday, December 15th, 1860, when a rally in Washington, Georgia, right here, raised a new flag over the cupola of the Wilkes County Courthouse, located in the center of the town square. Once again, I just shared that word that was. Speaking about the courthouse that was just right here, right in front of this Confederate memorial over here. It was a blue banner with a large white star in the center. This occurred more than a month before Georgia seceded from the United States. At least 4 full companies of Wilkes County citizens would serve in the Confederate Army. So isn't that something else? They put basically a Bonnie Blue flag up here long before it seceded, right about the same time as South Carolina. To give you an idea where we're at right here. This is the route of Jefferson Davis through Carolina and Georgia, as it says. Came through here, Unionville, Clinton, Cokesville, Abbeville, and here in Washington, where we are, as you see, right on the edge of South Carolina and Georgia. Continued on through Warrenton, Sandersville, Dublin, Abbeville, and then Irwinville. Take notice there's 2 different Abbeyvilles, at Abbeville, South Carolina, and Abbeville, Georgia. And Irwinville right there where Jefferson Davis was captured. And this speaks right here. President Jefferson Davis bidding farewell to his escort. So for those of you just joining me, I'm here in Washington, Georgia. Right in this nice, peaceful court square right here in Dixie. The place where Jefferson Davis met with his cabinet for the very last time. As mentioned, on this courthouse that on this historical marker that I just read to you. I just read that. You can read that on the historical marker database. And also, as mentioned on the back there, one last little look here. And then I'm gonna walk back over here down the main street. All the shops are closed today, as expected, especially on a Sunday. So for a town of just only about 4,000 folks, they've done a wonderful job kind of keeping us up through here. Passing by the Confederate Memorial one last time. Lord of God of hosts, lest we forget. And men of Wilkes know through all time that they fought to maintain a just union, to defend constitutional government, to perpetrate American liberties, and left you their patriotic spirit. So backing away and getting closer to where I started from. Here at the Wilkes County Confederate Memorial and also the Wilkes County Courthouse. Nice little shops. Next time I pass through here, stop at some of these. I see an Express over here. I see this ice cream shop. I wish that was open right now. Sure, little antique stores here. See a little mercantile over here to the side. Little mom and pop type shops. Looks like that's the old theater right over here. So looks like it's used for fashion. Looks like a little restaurant right over here. And finishing this up over by the feature you see fairly often and across Dixie, and that is a clock, like a court square type clock. And it says Washington 1780 here in Washington, Georgia. And part of the main street there also continues on the back behind. Section right here. This is mostly devoted to Black history right here. This is an old inn site. Old stage coaches that came through here. And a little historical marker on Washington Wilkes first. First county named in Georgia's first constitution. All right, I'm gonna continue and finish this video up. Hope you're enjoying the day. Just perusing through here in Washington, Georgia. Not too far from the South Carolina line. You see the Confederate Memorial and the Wilkes County Courthouse in the background, and this fountain right here where the courthouse was first built. Just leaving this beautiful little scenery from here in Dixie. So take care, y'all. I'm gonna continue on the road here, and I'd already taken some drone videos. I'll share those with you later. May God bless you, and may God bless and save America. May God bless and save Dixie.